Hello, Victor.
Nyota, good evening.
I do hope you're feeling better because we saw that footage of you with smarting eyes. I hope you're feeling better now.
Yeah, I'm much better. I'm much better, thank you.
Okay, so just walk us through this whole thing. I mean, why the tear gas? Is it that the protest was not supposed to be, or the residents did not have a right to come and say, "Hey, you're making us homeless. Do something about this"? What were you able to glean from this?
Well, I'm not sure why that tear gas incident actually happened because ordinarily you would say perhaps because the protesters went beyond the scope of their responsibility. You could say maybe they were violent. You could say maybe because they become uncontrollable and all of that, but none of such happened, at least for the fact that I was and I saw the entire proceeding. So the protesters were really peaceful, marching through from Ikeja Underbridge to the State House of Assemblies. I mean, everything went as smooth as it can ever be. Although the little infraction there might be the fact that they took a major part of the road, which of course caused a heavy traffic or a major traffic. So if you did hear what the commissioner of police said when I asked him why he did that, because it was barely 20 minutes that they got to the entrance of the State of Assembly trying to demand answers from the legislators to, you know, demand that if you're going to evict us from our homes, evict us from our offices, where else do we go to? How do we go back to work? Where do we sleep? And all of that. And they just sat down on the floor hoping that somebody was going to listen to them or attend to them, since they were not going to be allowed to go into the chambers. And then about 20 minutes later, after they got to the entrance, we just saw canisters just flying around, and before you could say Jack Robinson, everybody, scampered for safety. Of course, safety first. Some persons left their bags, some persons, their phones were broken, and slippers flying around. I mean, nobody, even if you came with your child or something, nobody probably remember they had something or somebody that close to them until they got to safety. Of course, we also had, to quickly, get the safety, but we were able to get a couple of shots from that incident. And then we went back to the commissioner of police along with Jima to ask questions why they had to use some brute force on these peaceful protesters. And two or three key things he said. One was the fact that he felt that they were blocking a major road because he had earlier warned that they should stay off the road, so as not to hamper those, vehicles, going about their, businesses. And then the other thing he said was that, didn't I hear one of the organizers, Taiwo Hassan, also known as Soweto, didn't I hear when, himself and other protesters were hurling insults at him and calling him several names? And I mean, is that normal? Is that supposed to be? Do you have any right to insult the commissioner of police, even though he has to be professional about it? But, there's a limit at which, according to him, there's a limit at which he could take some of those insults. So these are some of the major issues that made them use that. You can see on your screen the canisters, firing triggers and the protesters. And I did ask him again, if you call this minimal force, because that was the language you used, if you call this minimal force, I mean, we all know the implications of using tear gas on protesters. Some of them might have medical conditions. Some of them who are probably carrying babies on their backs. It could cause a chaotic scene. There could be stampede and all of that. Were you not thinking about that? And they said that was the best that we could do. Whether you use water cannons or not, it's still the same thing. That was the best they could do. After all, they're also police officers, they're human beings too, that got affected by the incident too. So it's okay for them to use it. But so that's the sad incident really, and it's really bad because some persons got injured, and we went to the hospital to meet with one of the protesters who was really, really injured. There was a laceration on her chin, yes, because the canister tore through that chin, and even the hospital themselves cannot treat that case, and they had to transfer her. These are some of the issues, basically, Neota.
You were not hurt, and thank you for reporting on this. Thank you.